How are we doing today? Um, Something a little different today. Um, yeah, something a little different. Um, this is the first episode of hopefully more than one. Hopefully more than one of a brand new podcast by, I guess, me. Um, yeah. Um, you've already read the title, so you know it is called the False Opinions Podcast, or False Opinions, maybe no podcast actually in the name, but that's what it is. So I guess I'll just get right into what this podcast is and then actually get into it. I'm not going to spend a whole time explaining it. It's a podcast. It's really not that hard to explain. Hard to understand, sorry. So yeah, this will be a podcast by me. Every week, probably every Friday, but things happen sometimes. The length, I'm not really sure. I'd like to keep it, max like 90 minutes, but we'll see. I tend to ramble, so that happens. And it is called False Opinions because I think the name is kind of cool, kind of clever. You can disagree if you want. Yeah, it's in kind of a juxtaposition. False opinions. Opinions can't be false because that's the nature of an opinion, and false true, false is stupid, and whatever, right? And basically this podcast is just going to be me talking about nothing, and I know I probably didn't sell that very well, but it's basically just stuff that I care about, and I think that people who watch my content will care about, and maybe you will, maybe you won't. If you don't, then don't listen to it. That's fine. Happens. So yeah, I'm gonna gather topics every week. Though, so it won't just be me rambling for an hour and a half. I mean, it will, but it'll actually be structured in a way and actually have a topic and actually have some opinions and points of view and all that stuff that a podcast is supposed to be. The topics can range from, video games, anime, music, just news, like world news, because there's always something to talk about in the world news, unfortunately. And just other stuff, like just anything, really. Just anything that interests me and something that I think that I can actually talk about for more than 60 seconds and it be somewhat entertaining and somewhat insightful even. Like I said, it's just me, but sometimes I'll have guests on. Rayman from you see him in previous videos. If you watch my stuff, then you've seen him in previous videos most likely. He'll probably be on sometimes, every now and again, or he won't. He hates me and he'll just say no. And other people too that I don't really want to, like, obviously I don't know, but other people too that I don't really want to say yet because I want it to be a surprise, I guess. But yeah. So there's really nothing else for me to say. It's a podcast. I guess you can just judge it by listening to it. So, yeah. So my first topic today, I'm not really sure where to start. I think I will start, with something like, let's talk about something that if you watch my channel, then you know that I care about at least a little bit and I have some knowledge of, I guess, is Super Mario Party. Let's talk about Super Mario Party for a little bit. Now Super Mario Party is a game that is obviously released for Nintendo Switch this year, last year. And it's a fun game. It is a game that people were really hoping would be good because the last two Mario Parties on Nintendo have been trash. And 8 was pretty good, and the golden era ones are the ones on the 64 and on the GameCube. So yeah, and what I want to talk about, sorry about that. What I want to talk about is, hold on one second. I don't want to be fucking coughing throughout the entire podcast when a podcast is just me talking. So yeah, what I want to talk about, I want to give it a mini review of sorts. And maybe that'll sway you to buy it or not buy it, or maybe you don't care. I mean, that's fine too. But I do want to talk about it because it is a game that I really want it to be good. I really like the Mario Party franchise. I think that it is a very, very important franchise, at the very least for Nintendo, but I would say for all games, because I don't think anyone has really done the Mario Party style, like genre, which it really isn't a genre because there's really no one out there who's done it even close to as good as as Nintendo has. So there have been some things that have changed in this Mario Party, and I want to point them out, and I want to tell you if I think they're good or not. Because there's a lot of good, but there's also some stuff that I kind of wish they would change. So let's start off with the good. Start off with the good, praise it, and then kill it afterwards, I guess. So one of the things I like, one of the things that you'll notice right away is the games are a lot shorter. Well, are they shorter? I guess they can be depending on how many turns you have. I guess what I meant to say was they're a lot smaller. Like the maps are a lot smaller. It's a lot more condensed. There is your dice block used to be a 1 to 10 and it's now a 1 to 6. And I think a lot of people were complaining about this when it first came out. But I'm not really mad at it. Like I first saw it, and even in the trailer I was like, oh, it's shorter. Or not shorter. Well, yeah, shorter, but I saw that the maps were smaller. They just look smaller. I wasn't like counting the spaces or anything. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then I saw them throw the block, and it was a 1 to 6, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay. But then I just kind of thought about it for a second, and I was like, well, I mean, as long as everything gets smaller proportionally, then it's not really smaller. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be one thing if the maps were smaller, but it was still 1 to 10 dice block, because then you would get around a lot quicker, and like it would feel shorter. And it'd be the same thing as if just your dice block got smaller, but like the maps were the same size as they were in 8. Then it'd be like, oh, it would take you almost twice as long to get around the board, and it'd feel like super big, and it'd be like, oh, like I can't like experience the whole map because there's not enough time to, because I can't get around fast enough. But everything moved proportionally, and like I've played Mario Party a bunch of times now. I mean, every single time it's been on the channel. As I'm recording this, not all of our Mine and Ray Mario Parties are out right now. But that's every time I've ever played, and every time I haven't been like, oh man, that was too short. Like we've even just done the regular like 60-minute one, where it's just 10 turns. I think it's 10 turns, right? Yeah, and 10 turns seems so small because I think previously 20 turns was the standard. That was like, all right, just a normal game of Mario Party, playing 20 turns. But now like 10 turns is 60 minutes, and to some I can see how it feels short, but even with 15 turns, it's still like, I mean, it's a good length, I mean, the one thing they do very well, they shorten like the number of spaces that are on a board, but there's like still a lot of like event spaces and stuff. So like I felt like in previous Mario parties there was a lot of spaces that were just blue or red, and like I felt like a lot of the time when I was rolling, I was just landing on a blue or red, which is just boring. It's like I want something to happen, and with this one it feels like every other, maybe even more frequently than every other time that I move, I seem to be landing on either an event space or a pipe, or I end up passing something that you don't have to land on, such as a shop or some of the events, the other event spaces, like a Lackey 2, there's verses, all that stuff. So it's like they actually did a really good job of, the map is smaller, but there's still a lot of stuff on there, so they still make a lot of stuff happen even with the smaller map, which I think was very smart of them to do that. So yeah, that's just basically one of the first and one of the biggest things that I wanted to talk about, because I really do think that was a lot of people's criticism of it, is that it's smaller, but I don't really feel like it's shorter, you know what I mean? Like 10 turns for me is still good. I mean, 15 is probably ideal, But I'm not mad when someone picks 10 turns. Like, I'm like, all right, cool. I'll play Mario Party for an hour, and I don't feel like it was really that short. Like I still had fun. It was still good. Like there was still enough time for, there to be about like 8 stars passed around, which is just a good amount. I feel like, um, you know, so yeah. That's actually something that I really liked about this game. Another thing I really like about this game is the character variety. Now, I'm not very seasoned in Mario Party. I mean, I've played probably everyone, but I'm not like Mario Party's not my go-to game, so I'm not like I don't know all the maps from previous games inside and out. I don't know all the mini games or anything like that. So I honestly don't really know the characters, and I just realized that you have been looking at Google for the last 10 minutes. Let me actually put something up on the screen. Let me look up Mario Party, Super Mario Party characters for you, because there is a good amount of characters. I don't really like all the characters. I guess we'll go with this one because this one shows all spoilers for anyone who hasn't unlocked every character. It's not really a spoiler, it doesn't really matter. Some of these are unlockable. I think there's 4 of them. I think that Pom Pom over right here is unlockable. I know Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong are unlockable, and I think the other one is Dry Bones. Yeah, Dry Bones. So these 2 and these 2 are unlockable. So this is 5 times 4. That's 20 characters. I feel like 20 characters is a good amount. I mean, how many were in previous games, I mean, here's Mario Party 8 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 14 characters here. So, I mean, like, they have more characters. Honestly, guys, all we needed is Waluigi right here. You know what I'm saying? That's all we need. Rosalina's backup, and there's no more characters that are needed. Donkey Kong's actually pretty cool. Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong are cool. I really like the Donkey Kong franchise. I really, really like the Donkey Kong franchise. Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy Advance was the shit, and it was an amazing game. 2 and 3 are good too. I know people say 2 is the best one, but I just have like nostalgia for the first one, so that's why 1 will always be the best. But 2 and 3 are amazing too. I should play those games on this channel. I might do that at that point. At some point, I might do like a like retro binge or whatever of a bunch of different retro games. Excuse me. Shy Guy's also really cool. But yeah, before I get any further, I just really like the character variety. I do like I think that there's a character for everyone on here. Like I feel like there's no way that you're a fan of Nintendo or even not a fan of Nintendo and you get up to this character screen and you're like, I don't really like anybody. You know what I mean? Or like the person I wanted isn't in it. And it's like, well, I mean, sure. But like, I mean, they even have Bowser in it, which is interesting because I think this is the first time Bowser has ever been playable, which is really cool. Which is also really interesting because I think that's the reason Bowser's never been available is because Bowser's usually been the guy who's been like behind the like loose plot of what Mario Party is, and he's usually the one that like shrinks you or he like captures you and kind of like a Saw-esque scenario where you're forced to play games and you beat him in the end and then everything's good. But yeah, overall, yeah, there's not what to talk about here. I just want to say character variety is amazing to me. There's a lot of really cool characters in here. There's a lot of really cool characters. I like their selection. Let me know in the comments if there are any characters that you actually did want in here and they aren't represented, because I can't really think of any. I mean, I'm trying to go to like, here's again Mario Party 8. Like Toadette isn't in here. You can't play as Toadette, but that's because Toadette is the one who gives you the star now. Is Boo playable in this game? Yes. Is Birdo? Birdo's not here. Birdo is actually one that I'm surprised they took out. If I were them, I would have, I would have, replaced Pom Pom with Birdo. I don't really care about Pom Pom. I'm pretty sure Pom Pom this is like the first game she's ever been in, is this one. I think she was made for this game. Yeah, I think they should have replaced her with Birdo, actually. That is one great. Blooper, I don't really care that much about. I don't really think people really play Blooper, to be honest, but, that's fine. What is this? Oh, Mario Party. Oh, is this like every character that's ever been playable in Mario Party? Okay, that's cool. Oh, if this is every character, then they. Oh yeah, Goomba's playable now. I forgot about that. You can play as different Toads. Yeah. Spike. I did see some people be upset that Spike wasn't added in the game. I never played as Spike. I would much rather have Birdo than Spike. Out of all the characters that didn't make it, that could have been replaced with someone like Pom Pom, who I don't really care for, I think Birdo should have been in. Birdo's a very, very interesting character to me. But that's that. But to transition, it's kind of the similar topic from character variety is the character blocks, which is something they added in this game, which I think is really, really, really cool. Let's do character blocks. See if I can get some of them on here. Let's see. I don't think I can. I mean, there's something right here that I can look at for you, my man. So character blocks are a new thing that has been added to this game that I think is really, really, really cool. So basically, at any given time, you have your regular dice block, which everyone has, 1 to 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you have your character dice block. And your character dice block can have a variety of different things on it. So like on here, Mario doesn't look that different because I think Mario's is 1, 2... I think it's 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 6, or something like that. And like, his dice block is described as like a very all-around dice block because Mario has always been a very all-around type player and everything. And you have Wario, who has all odd numbers, and I think he has I think it's 3, 5, 5, 7. And then the other two sides are like -2 coins or something like that. So there are some dice blocks that can give you just coins or take away coins. And if you get that, you actually get a 0. So you don't move anywhere. So it could be really bad for you to land on. It could be that thing where you're like, oh man, I really want a 7. And then you get that and you're like, oh damn, I lost 2, 3 coins, whatever it is. And I don't go anywhere. So now it's basically like I wasted my turn. But there are some instances where even me and Ray, I don't know if they've happened in any of the Mario Partys that are out at this point, but there is Mario Partys that have happened where me and or Ray have really wanted a 0, and we use our special dice block because there's a 2 out of 6 chance of getting, 2 out of 6 chance of getting a 0, because there's this thing that I actually didn't add to my list of stuff that I like, which is allies. And allies are something, going off on a quick tangent here about allies. Allies are something they also added to the game, which I think is awesome. Like, between character blocks and allies, like, those two mechanics have made this game amazing to me. Allies are something that have pros and cons. I would say in the Mario, in the main, like, party mode of this game, allies are usually a pro, usually a good thing, I would say. And you can land on an ally space, which brings up which actually brings up this menu right here. And it goes like do, and it kind of cycles through them, and you press A and it stops on one. And if I'm playing Waluigi and it lands on Rosalina, then Rosalina comes down in a bubble with her dice block, and she's now my ally, which means that I can roll the regular when it's my turn. I can roll the regular dice block, my Waluigi dice block, because that's the person I'm playing, or I can roll Rosalina's dice block, which is really cool because you can get multiple character dice blocks, because the regular dice block may not cut it for what you're trying to do, and your character dice block may not cut it for what you're trying to do, but Rosalina's or Yoshi's or Monty Mole's may be the exact dice block you need, and if you have them as an ally, you can use their dice block. The other amazing thing is that whatever you decide to roll, whatever dice block you decide to roll, you roll and you get whatever number you get, whatever it is. And then your ally or allies, you can have multiple allies. I think you can have up to 4 allies at a time. And I actually don't know what happens if you land on it when you have the max number of allies, but it might just say like switch one out, or it might say, oh, sorry, you have too many, or something like that. But yeah, so you roll, get whatever number you get, and then they roll a dice block that's it's 3 1s and 3 2s, I'm pretty sure. And so whatever you get, you have the chance of getting another space or 2 ahead of what you got, which is really cool for people that need to move fast, or people that, whatever it is. And why I said there's cons to it is because sometimes you're trying to get a certain space, and if you have if you're playing a shy guy who his character dice block is 1-0 and 5-4s, you may be like, oh cool, the lucky space, which is a space that if you land on it you get stuff. It's usually coins and sometimes it's stars, but I think that's super rare for you to get a star from it. And you're like, oh, I want to land on the lucky space, and also it gives me like another like green space or whatever it is, and it's 4 spaces away. Well, you can't get that using Shy Guy's dice block if you have an ally or more, one or more allies, because if you're successful in rolling the 4, then they're going to give you another 1 or 2 and you're going to pass it. So that's one reason why I think some players are like kind of wary about getting allies, because they're like, well, I can't like precisely hit spaces that I want, because in that scenario you would have to use the regular dice block and hope that you got a 2 or a 3 from it, and then your ally rolled a 1 or a 2 respectively, so that you would get a 4. So yeah, going back to character dice blocks, what was I talking about with character dice blocks? They're just really cool, man. I mean, you see Bowser, he can go up to 10. I think Donkey Kong can also go up to 10. I think Koopa can also go up to 10. I think Bowser's... Is it Bowser's? I think it's Bowser's that's like 2 -3s, a 1, 8, 9, 10. So it's like super like extreme one way or the other. So let's just, play it as you with caution. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, I think that's character dice blocks. I think they're really cool. I mean they just add like a whole nother level of like strategy to it, where it's like, oh, now I have this dice block as well that I can roll, and I can get a 7. You know what I mean? And other people, can't get a 7. So it's like, should I risk it? Because some dice blocks are really safe, like Shy Guys or Daisies, but some are can be really destructive, like Bowser's or Boo's, or stuff like that. So it's just really like, it's just another thing that Nintendo like thought of, and it's like, this is amazing. This is an amazing thing you added. I think that's all the stuff I can think of that I really like. I think the only other thing I can think of that just came to the top, just came to my head, was another mode that me and Ray have played that I don't know if that's going to be out by the time I release this podcast. Probably not. So here's a little sneak peek into something that we played. We played this one mode, and it's a 2v2 mode, and it reminds me and Ray of XCOM, or another game you may know is Mario vs. Rabbids, the Kingdom Battle game or whatever it is. It's like a turn-based strategy game where you roll your dice and you have spaces on the board. It's like a grid, and you have to get to the star, and there's other Mario Party elements of it or on it as well, such as you can pick up allies, you can land on like event spaces, you can land on treasure chests to get like coins, or maybe a piranha plant is in it, and it's basically Mario Party XCOM. That's what I describe it as, because it's pretty much what it is. And me and Ray have discovered this, and it's like, this is like this game could have been released on its own. The same exact way that Mario vs. Rabbids was its own game, $60, its own game. This could have been its own game if they just like fleshed it out just a little bit more to make it have like a story the same way the way Mario Rabbids does. But like, this is something that me and him have agreed is like a hidden gem. So if there's anyone out there that has Super Mario Party and doesn't know about this mode, you should definitely play it, because it's like a whole nother game. Like you're like thinking, you're like strategy, you're like, the way you get 2v2, so you have a partner, so like the way you have to like divvy up how you roll your dice blocks, who gets the allies, because sometimes you only want one person to get all the allies so that you can be precise and they can be like the like fast one who gets around a lot. If you're gonna split up, there's a lot of strategy in it. It is a strategy game. So that's the last thing I think that I like, or that I can think of. I mean, all around the game's amazing, but I do want to talk about the couple things that I'm not super keen about. One of them is I kind of wish there were more items. I feel like there's not that many items. I feel like previous games had a lot of different items you can get. I mean, with this game, you basically have the basic ones. You have like the mushrooms that make you go farther, faster. You have the golden pipe that brings you to the star. You have the what are the other items? Oh man, I can't think of any other items. What are the other items? Let me look it up real quick. Mario Party items. Item shop. So it's not just memorabilia. That's super cool of you to not have this here. Alright, let's go to all. Item shop. Cool. Games. Fuck. Mario Party. More. Mario Party 10. What the fuck is Super Mario Party, my dude? Yes. Okay, here we go. Here is where it all comes together. And man, there's so much. Okay. Mario Party recommend playable characters, non-playable characters, boards, items. Okay, so we have. Fuck, these are dice blocks. Items. So yeah, see, these are all the items right here. These are all the items. Warp pipe. Wait. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, custom dice block. That's the one I was thinking. They do have the custom dice block, which is great. Which is actually like, they like beefed that up because, before when you had the custom dice block, the one that will go go slower, you still have to time it. With this custom dice block, you literally just pick it. Like you pick, I want to roll 5, and it's like, all right, cool, 5. Which is really, really cool. But yeah, this is all they have. The Fly Guy ticket, steal an item. It's like cool. Like it has the basic ones, but like there was a lot of ones back then that had like crazy things that you could do. You know, like especially the way that you would throw them on the board. Like that's kind of, I think, the thing I miss. It's not so much I wish there was more items. I do really wish that you could throw items on the board again and people could land on them, you know, lose coins, gain coins, you know, get like tornadoed back to the start, you know, you can steal coins from them, you could warp them to you or warp to them, you know, if you pass it, for every space you pass it, you lose 5 coins, 10 coins. Like there's a lot of strategy into placing your items. You could also place items over other people's items to just fuck them over. Like there was a lot of really good strategy when it came to that. And with this one, it's like, all right, cool. You know, you have the standard items. You know, I get maybe you did that. You took some of that stuff away because the boards are smaller. I just really like throwing items. I thought that was a really cool mechanic of it. You know. You know, there's really not much to talk about other than that. That's just kind of, you know, I just kind of wish there was more, you know, to that. And the other thing I didn't quite like about this was more maps. You know, that's kind of other people's gripe too, is that, you know, there's only 3 maps and there's one unlockable one, but that's only 4. You know, I wish there was like 5 or 6 maps. This is actually one that I'm kind of on the fence about, where when I started it, I was definitely like, yeah, I wish there was more maps, you know, we're going to get through them so quickly, you know. But, you know, like, as I've played it, I've been like, you know, I'm not that mad there's not more maps, you know. I mean, you just play them over again, you know. I mean, you're going to get a different result each time, every game's going to look different, you know, play them at different, you know, lengths, you know, there's, and there's all the different modes too, you know. There's a lot of different like side modes and bonus modes in this game, you know, including the XCOM one. So this one I kind of been on the fence about, where I still kind of do, there was more, I do still kind of wish there was more maps, maybe like 1 or 2 more maps, but the maps we have are good. I mean, they're all different, they're all very unique. You know, there's some maps people don't like, but you know, I mean, I think every map is at least up to par, you know. I don't think any of the map is like, all right, that map is trash. Like, no, I mean, you just don't like it. Doesn't mean it's trash, you know. So, but yeah, I think that's it. I think those are my likes and dislikes of Mario Party. I think that is my general review. I mean, as just a final thing. this game is amazing. You know, I mean, if you were thinking about getting Mario Party, you're not sure if this is a good one. This is a good one. This is the best one since at the very least 8. You know, it's way better than 9 and 10. And also, if you have a Switch and you want that party game, you know, not just because party is in the name, this is a really good party game to play with, you know, 2 or 3 other people, or one, 2 or 3 other people, up to 4 people, obviously. You know, and again, I think that every game is amazing. You know, me and Ray have played this game a bunch of times, and there's never been a Mario Party where we finished it and was like, oh, that was kind of boring, or oh, that was kind of slow, or oh, that was, you know, that was fine. You know, like every Mario Party has been like, that was fun, that was good. So, or at least for me, you know, I can't speak for him, but you know, yeah. So, I think what I want to talk about next, and this topic might take a little bit shorter time, but I do want to talk real quick about Nintendo's sales, right? I did. Damn. Dedicated video game sales. It says 22 million, huh? Is that right? Sales and deals. How about this? How about Nintendo Switch units shown? Okay. Okay, we're gonna go to Polygon. Polygon's not really a site I go to, but I'm sure it's fine, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it recently came out that Nintendo has sold just about, well, at this point, this is a little old as of June 30th, so this was made in July. It has sold a little over 20 million units, and I just wanted to talk about the importance of that, because the Switch started out as a console that we didn't really know much about, and then, you know, we got the release trailer for it, and there's a lot of people who were very, very skeptical. You know, they said this isn't a real console, this is a hybrid, this is the stuff that, you know, and there's definitely stuff about it that people really liked. You know, like, I love that it was a hybrid. I was like, this is what I've been wanting, you know, and this is definitely what they've been striving for. They wanted that with the Wii U, but the Wii U tablet wasn't completely mobile. You know, you still needed the Wii U console with you to play it. And they finally got it with this, and a lot of people didn't like that. They said that, oh, because, you know, they sacrificed some of it to make it handheld, it's not going to be as powerful. Others, like me, will counteract that and say, well, I don't need my Switch to be super powerful. I don't need it to be PS4, Xbox powerful. I don't even need it to be close to that. I just needed to play the games that it makes well. And like, you look at, you know, Zelda, Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Party, Mario Kart. I just named like 3 Mario titles, but and then even like indie titles like Switch, like Shovel Knight or Hollow Knight, like I was gonna say Stardew Valley, but yeah. So like, I mean, all these games, whether they be an indie or a first party title, they all look good. I mean, even like they put Doom on the console, and that was a big thing. Was people were like, well, why would I buy Doom on Switch when it's gonna look like this? You know, like, it's not gonna look as good as the PS4 or Xbox, and it didn't, but it still looked really good. You know, and, you know, really being a relative adjective, but it still looked good. You know, like, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Doom. I played Doom on the PS4. Amazing game. I probably plan on playing it at some point, probably to lead up to Doom 2, which is coming out, I think, next year. They're going to release Doom 2. So I'll probably replay Doom at some point on the channel, because it's a super, super fun game. But, you know, I played Doom and I heard about this, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I wonder how it's gonna look. And then stories came out that was like, you know, it's like really hard to make this run well on, or like run, because Bethesda cares about like quality. I feel like, I mean, with Fallout and with, Skyrim and stuff, they have quite the big expectations. And so, they just seem like that kind of company that isn't going to put out crap, so they were really trying. They're like, we're working very, very, very hard to make Doom look good and it not just be another port, and it came out and it looked good. I was surprised at how good it looked. It didn't look PS4 quality, but it didn't have to be like the fact that we got a port from the PS4 and Xbox and PC to a Nintendo console and it didn't look like trash. It wasn't SD. It wasn't, this is, upscaled 1080. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe it was. I don't exactly know upscale 1080, upscale 720, whatever it plays natively. I know in handheld mode, I think it's a max of 720, and on the console, it's a max of 1080. I'm pretty sure. So, but whatever, like it still looked good, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. So, going back to the sales numbers, I think it says here, or maybe it doesn't say here, but the Switch is on pace to, like, on the PS4's pace. Yeah, here's another look at what Switch is doing. After approximately 16 months, PS4 has sold 20.2 million units. As for Switch, in 16 months, it sold 19.67. But then it also said, I didn't know about that. PS4 also had 2 holiday seasons while the Switch had gone through 1, which is true because the PS4 released in November, so it was able to get that quick holiday season right there, and then it scooped up another one by the time the 16 month was over. While Switch released in March, I think that the Switch came out. So yeah, I mean, we're just now coming up to the next holiday season, the second holiday season for Switch. So yeah, like that was just crazy to me that the Switch is on pace to tie, with in quotation marks, the PS4 in sales, like is on the same pace, which is crazy to me because again, when the Switch first, was announced, and then even when it came out, there's still a lot of people that are like, why would I need this? Like we're still waiting for a game. Like there was a long time where there wasn't like any crazy games. Like when it first came out, Zelda was the selling point. People were like, oh, like Bomberman was on it, and they're like, I don't really care about Bomberman. There's this, that, I don't really care. Zelda was the only selling point, and then there's people that are like, well, Zelda's also available on the Wii U. And again, my counterpoint to that would be, well, it's not going to look nearly as good on the Wii U as it will on the Switch. So there's that. People were like, oh, just wait for Mario Odyssey. You know what I mean? That'll be the selling point, And there's still a lot of people today who haven't bought one yet. I bought one because I wanted to play Zelda. I didn't buy it when it first came out. I bought it after. I bought it, I think, more towards the holiday season, maybe, I think. I want to play Zelda, and then Odyssey came out. I really wanted to play that, of course. And then, like Donkey Kong, Tropical Freeze. I didn't ever get a chance to play that on the Wii U because Wii U was trash. So yeah, yes. But yeah, I just want to touch base on that because the sales. It's just a crazy thing to me that the Switch can sell this much. That the Switch is like back in the conversation of an actual console. I mean, they were able to do what no one else has really been able to do, and have a very overpowering handheld base. PlayStation tried with the PSP, which PSP was pretty successful, I feel like, but then the Vita came out and it just had so much potential. I had a Vita and I played a bunch of games on it, but it just kind of turned into like a JRPG machine, which is pretty much what it turned into, where that's pretty much all the games that were released on it after a while were just JRPGs. And it's like, it's cool if you want that, but you're not going to get, the people here to buy that. And then for Nintendo to just be like, we're just going to merge the two, which is crazy to me because the DS line, 3DS line, whatever you want to, it's so, like, they sell so much, like people were definitely buying DSs more than they were buying Wii U's, which is crazy. Um, and then for Nintendo to just be like, we now don't make handhelds and consoles, we make this, which is very ballsy, I think, because they recently came out with a new DS, and it was like the new 2DS XL or something like that, right? Which is like, to me, the new 3DS XL. No, the new 2DS XL, I don't know. Which to me is the perfect console, or the perfect handheld, I mean, for them. Like, I never cared about the 3D, so for you to be able to turn that off, or just not have it at all, the 3D, and like whatever, the 3D on the 3DS was really, really good for what it was, for it to be in a handheld DS, Nintendo handheld. It was actually pretty good. And then the whole, size XL, I was like XL over regular, all that stuff. But I think that's crazy to me that they would do that, and they're selling so well, and like, I mean, they are off cycle, and Nintendo will preach that they don't compete with PS4 and Xbox, but yeah, I just really want to praise them for this, and one question that I saw pop up was, people said, how long is this going to last? Because they don't have the luxury of having these third parties the same way PS4 and Xbox do. And my response to that is, they don't really have to, a lot of people said that was Wii U's problem, was they didn't have third parties, and that's what killed them. But to me, I don't think it was the lack of third party support that killed them. I think it was the fact that their console sucked and no one wanted to put their third parties on it. With this, I think people can put their third parties on it. I mean, we see big names in Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA putting their games, so it's not like they don't have third party support. It's just that they don't have to put every third party game. Like Assassin's Creed Odyssey doesn't have to be on this. Hitman doesn't have to be on this. You know what I mean? Like, those are games that don't have to be on this, because again, we go back to Nintendo doesn't compete with PlayStation and Xbox. They don't have to. I mean, you see that with 20.2 million units sold, or that's PS4's numbers, but this was taken a few months ago, so it is over 20 million by now. All they have to do is to have like, third parties are important. I think that them having third parties on here are important, and people will buy the Switch and be happy with it, because there's games like Wolfenstein 2, and everything like that. And but I think that all Nintendo has to do is sprinkle in those third parties, but mainly make your first parties amazing, like we know you can, and also continue to massively support indies the way you've been. And I think, again, you do that, and then you just sprinkle in the third parties, ones that you think will do well, ones that you are, you have relationships with, like, good, you're on good terms with the the companies, again, Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA, all that stuff. I think they're good. I mean, again, I think that was the bigger problem, where them having third parties wasn't the thing that killed them. That what killed them was the reason they didn't have third parties was because their console sucked. Like, it was just barely HD. You know what I mean? Like, it's like no one is even asking for Wolfenstein on your console. No one is even asking for, Odyssey or something on your console, or Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or an Assassin's Creed game on your console, because it's not going to look good. It's probably not going to play good either, But now it's like, oh, even if you don't put Assassin's Creed on there, people will still ask for it, because like, oh, this console is actually good and it can actually run this. It's not going to run as good as PlayStation and Xbox, but again, I don't think it has to, because I think that people who buy a Switch aren't like I think the days are gone of do I go with Xbox, PlayStation, or Sony? No, Xbox, Nintendo, or Sony. I think now it really is like, and I think Nintendo is somewhat geniuses for being able to put themselves in this corner, is that because they don't compete with them, I think most people have a PlayStation or an Xbox or a PC, and then they also get a Nintendo console. You know, like I do it. I had a PlayStation and then I bought a Nintendo console because I was like, I want to play Nintendo games. You know, I don't really care about the other stuff. You know, I'll buy other games that are available on everything on here. You know, if I feel like, you know, they run well and it makes sense to buy them on here. But they paint themselves in this amazing corner because I don't do that with Xbox. Like, I love PlayStation because, like, I'm also kind of different, I think, when I buy with my mindset on consoles, because I don't buy PlayStation because I'm a PlayStation fanboy. You know, where I'm like, you know, whatever PlayStation makes, I'm going to buy it because they're PlayStation and I love them, and, you know, fuck Xbox, fuck Nintendo, fuck PC. I buy PlayStation because I like their first parties the most. You know, like, I've never been a fan of Halo. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I think it's a great game, although people didn't super love Halo 5, I think. And I'm not sure people are going to like the new Halo. People are kind of wary about it, but I mean, I 1000% hope it's good. You know, I want people who are fans of Halo to get a good Halo game. You know, I want that with every franchise, every fan base. You know what I mean? But you know, they're like racing game. I think Xbox is the one who has Forza, I think, and that's like a huge game for them. Or is it the other way around where they have, I don't know. You know, their Xbox, you know, I just never really cared about their Xbox, you know, like Gears, you know, I'm just not a big Gears fan, you know, like, again, I think the Gears games are great, but I'm just not a fan, you know, like, I much more go for, I mean, Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time, Uncharted I love, Ratchet and Clank is one of my favorite series of all time, and they put out, you know, a reimagined version. What other, Spider-Man has come out. I really want to play that. You know, God of War, you know, I have God of War. I played, I don't know, the first few hours of it, first however many hours. That game's amazing, you know what I mean? So, like, that's why I pick it. But then there's also Nintendo, where it's like, hey, we have Mario, we have Zelda, and I'm like, well, shit, like, I can't not play Mario and Zelda, especially if they're good Mario and Zelda, you know, with Mario Odyssey, which is amazing. You know, I'm playing it on the channel. It's fucking amazing. It's one of my favorite Mario games, honestly. You know, nothing for me will probably ever top Super Mario World or Super Mario Bros. 3. But Odyssey might be third. You know what I'm saying? It might be. You know, so I think that's like, some people say it's a hindrance to them to be like always the afterthought of video games. But I feel like the way they've done it is like, it's genius to be like I feel like with most console gamers, they always fight over which one to get, like PlayStation or Xbox. But then there's always the afterthought of, should we also get a Nintendo Wii or a Wii U or a Switch? Like there's always that afterthought of like, hey, we like, oh yeah, I gotta get this one too because I gotta play Mario or Zelda or, you know, Animal Crossing or whatever it is, you know. And with Nintendo being such a huge first party game, like console company, like it's just amazing, you know what I mean? But yeah, a few reasons people want to play for my household. So yeah, the Switch isn't really competing against anything, you know what I mean? Like, it's also another thing where I didn't really want to talk about this, but I guess I will. As of today, which again, today is Thursday, to break the fourth wall a little bit, so I'm gonna have to edit this. Probably not tonight, probably tomorrow morning-ish, afternoon-ish, and then release this at night tomorrow, because I do want to try for that Friday time. Did, you know, release podcasts every week. YouTube just got released on the Switch, and it's just one of those things where people were asking for it forever, and it's just one of those things that I just never cared about. Like, I'm actually kind of annoyed at people asking for YouTube, because to me, like, I just never understood why people wanted it so bad on the Switch. You know what I mean? Like, and I was reading on Reddit the one time about, you know, a person who explained every reason as to why it makes sense to put it on there. I'm not saying like I don't want it on there. I'm just saying that like I was never clamoring for it, because I literally have 4 other things that I can watch YouTube on. You know, I have my laptop, I have my TV, I have my phone, and I have my or 4 other things. Did I say 3 or 4? I have 4 other things: laptop, phone, TV, and PlayStation. So it's like, I don't really need another thing, and there's other people's, you know, argument of like, well, I don't want to use my phone because I want a bigger screen. I don't want to bring my laptop into bed. I don't want to use my TV because, I just want it right here, or like I want my headphones in, so I can use my TV. And same thing with PlayStation. I don't want to use that because I have my, I don't want to put my headphones in. And it's like, all right, well, you're right. You specifically, for your very, very specific scenario, want that, Oh, and then there's other thing where like, what about a tablet? It's like, oh, well, tablet's too big. And it's like, so you're trying to tell me that in your mind, the perfect thing is a Switch, and like the perfect thing to watch YouTube on is a Switch, and you just so happen to live during a time where the Switch is in existence, But anyway, I'm not trying to like, say that it's stupid to have YouTube on Switch. That's fine. You can have it on Switch. I don't care. It doesn't affect me in any way. I was just getting annoyed because like the Switch is so amazing and like it's so much better than we ever could have thought it could have been, and like it has so many good games, and like it's one of those things where like everything that comes out nowadays is a media machine that I don't think we need another media machine. Like I don't think we need Netflix and Hulu and YouTube and fucking Twitter and Facebook, like Instagram. We don't need all of that stuff on Switch. You have your phone. You know what I mean? Like you have your phone, tablet, laptop, TV, fucking, so it's just one of those things where like it's not that I thought it was stupid or that it's dumb or that why would they ever do that. It's just like, and like it's also not because I don't need it. Like that's fine. There's lots of things I don't need that are out that I'm like, all right, cool. That's fine. I don't need that. But it's just the fact that I felt like there were so many people that because YouTube wasn't on, or because YouTube, Netflix isn't on Switch, then it makes it like lesser of a piece of technology. And it's like, well, I mean, that's so many good games, and like it's amazing that you can go from console to handheld, and like the games, like the first parties, the indie titles, the fucking like it's just a good console, and like people just want more, and it's like they want everything, and like they're like, no, it makes sense, it's mobile, it's handheld, you can bring it on the go, you watch Netflix and Hulu. It's like, yeah, but like phones, tablets, laptop, like I'm just gonna keep saying the same things because this is stuff we already have. Like phone, tablet, laptop, those are all things that I'm sure you had 18 months ago when the Switch wasn't a thing. So it's like what changed, So that's that. I think that is my rant about Nintendo and the Switch. I think that is it. That's what I was talking about this episode of the podcast. I actually did have other stuff to talk. Like I actually have a bunch of shit to talk about because I would rather have a million more topics than I need than a million less. Man, this is gonna be a gaming episode, I guess. So one topic that I'm cutting out that I think I might leave till next time. So if this topic interests you, I suggest you listen to episode 2 of this podcast. I want to talk about 90s animation. 90s animation, more specifically. This is anime, so again, if you don't care about anime, then I guess you just skip a huge chunk of next podcast, or just don't listen to it, I guess. I mean, it's your choice. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I've obviously, had content come out from people that I like that I'm just like, I don't care about this video, I don't care about this. So I do want to talk about 90s animation. I think I'll push that to next episode because this episode is already getting up there in time. And there is 1.5 more things that I really, really want to talk about. So this probably will get to the 90-minute mark. So yeah, 90s animation. I want to talk about kind of how animation started in like the 90s. And animation didn't start in the 90s. I want to make that clear. I understand that anime did not start in the 90s, but I just want to talk about like the style and everything starting from the 90s all the way till now, and talk about the differences, how it's evolved. Is it better? Is it worse? Does it all look the same? Does it all look different? Is there more opportunity, less opportunity? That kind of thing. So if you're interested in that, me talking about that, because I am very much into anime, and even more so, very much into animation. So if you're into that, want to hear more about that, my opinion on that, check out next episode. I'm pushing that to next episode. I'm also probably going to push this other topic that I didn't write down yet because I didn't really get a chance to flesh out my idea yet. But Shrek just got announced for a reboot or a sequel or whatever it is. That I'm probably gonna talk about. And with that, I'm also gonna, go off a couple tangents off of that and talk about some more popular anime franchises, or not anime, animated movie franchises, and talk about some that have gone on a little too long and some that we might have wanted more of, because Shrek can be that for some people. Some people say it went on too long, too many movies. Some people wish there were more because they think all of them are amazing. So those are probably the two big topics next episode. So make sure to watch next episode if you're into that. And there might be, depending on how long they go, might be one or two smaller stuff I talk about. But so yeah, 1.5 more things this episode. The half thing will probably just take a few minutes. The whole Diablo fiasco. I'm not a fan of Diablo. I'm not a fan of Blizzard. I respect everything they've done. I've never played Diablo. Ray, I think, plays Diablo, and Diablo 3 just came on Switch or something like that, so I think he wants me to play it with him because it's co-op or something like that, so we might actually do that on the channel, so look out for that if you're a fan of Diablo. And with Blizzard, I mean, the only thing on Blizzard I've ever played is Overwatch, and I'm not good. I don't really play it. I did play it for maybe a month, and it was fun. I wasn't good at it, but I liked, again, I'm super into animation, so the character designs and the stories and how good it looked, all that stuff really, really interested me. But yeah, so I just want to talk about this really, really quick because this is something that I have an opinion on. So if you don't know, real quick, Diablo had this whole thing where people came out. It was a whole they were on stage. There was hey, we're Diablo people. I'm sure they're nice. I don't know why I made him say that. I don't know them. And basically, long story, not really that long, but it's short. Diablo announced a mobile game, and I think, people were upset. People were very, very upset. And to my knowledge, to my understanding, people were upset because they had this whole thing to announce something, and people were like, well, if you're doing this, it's obviously got to be a new Diablo game. I mean, it's been forever since the most recent Diablo, and I'm sure you've been working on something, so new Diablo, right? And they announced the Diablo mobile game. Diablo fans didn't want this. And so here comes my opinion. That's fine. I mean, when there's a franchise or an IP that you are really, really into, and they have this whole thing where they're going to announce something, you're not sure what it is, and they announce something that you don't like right off the bat. So something like that for me would be if they didn't make a Pokemon game for 3-4 years. Their last Pokemon game came out, and it's just been 3-4 years since the newest one. And they were like, yo, we're going to announce something today. We're the Pokemon people, we're going to announce something. And then they announced Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is not something I was into. Everyone was into it. This is slightly not the greatest example, but it's just something that I wasn't into. But walking around catching Pokemon, whatever. It's cool, but I want a new Pokemon game. I love Pokemon. I'm kind of excited for Let's Go Eevee Pikachu. I might pick it up, but I'm definitely way more excited for the mainline one that's coming out in 2019. I wouldn't get that mad though. I'd be a little upset or disappointed, at home when I'm watching the video of oh man, what they gonna announce? Pokemon Go. Oh, this isn't a Pokemon game. I mean, it is, but it's not. But I wouldn't, throw a rage. I wouldn't throw a fit. I wouldn't get on social media and say, Nintendo's stupid. The Pokemon company sucks. Why would Game Freak ever subscribe to this? I would just be like, oh, that sucks, but, I'm sure they're going to make another Pokemon game at some point, and the Pokemon Go example is kind of similar to this because a lot of people's who are looking at the good side of it is well, we didn't get a new Diablo game, Diablo console game or whatever, but I mean, this is a good move by Blizzard in a way because there are people who play mobile games, who all of the video games they play are mobile games. And so when they see a Diablo mobile game, This could get them into the franchise. This could even get them becoming a fan of Diablo. This could even get them as another sale or even more sales, depending on, if they have friends who play, they tell them about it. More sales from when the new Diablo game does come out. And go towards, buy more copies, have more fans, have more players, everything like that. So, same thing with Pokemon. It's like, there are so many people who play Pokemon Go that have no idea what Pokemon is. Like, all their knowledge of Pokemon came from them playing Pokemon Go. And now they're even thinking about playing Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee because it's a lot like Pokemon Go. And they're like, oh man, we just gained a fan. And now they're into the Pokemon franchise. And now they have a Switch. And now they're going to play more Switch games because they're like, hey, this is kind of fun. I wonder what other games I can play on this thing. So in my mind, it's like, it's not stupid. Like, there are definitely people who don't like this and they're very mad. A better example, I think for me, would be if Naughty Dog announced that The Last of Us 2 was a mobile game, or Last of Us 2 was a interactive, like a fucking visual novel or something. I'd be pretty upset. I'd be pretty upset, because Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time, probably top 5. And, their last game, The Last of Us, which is their only game. Well, not Naughty Dog's only game, but the only Last of Us game they made, came out in 2013, was then remastered in 2014, which is kind of crazy to be remastered a year later. So it's been, 5 years? 4 or 5 years? It's coming out next year, so next year will be 6 years. So it's just like, I'd be pretty upset. But I would also try to look at the good side of it and be like, well, maybe they are doing this to get more people to play The Last of Us. Maybe they're doing it to get some feedback. Maybe they're doing it to, there's got to be a reason, because I feel like these bigger companies that make such great content, I don't feel like they're stupid. I feel like sometimes they can get wrapped up in their own ideas, like Nintendo. I don't feel like people at Nintendo are stupid. I just feel like sometimes they get wrapped up in their own ideas, their own house, their own brains, their own eyes. And sometimes they forget to not necessarily listen to the fans, but sometimes take what the fans are saying seriously, and not just like, oh, we hear that a million times every day, but it's not going to work. It's not going to do this, It doesn't really sound fun when you put it on paper and actually start making it into a game or an idea or whatever it is. So yeah, that's just really all I wanted to say about that, was that, like, I can't really relate that much because I'm not a fan of Diablo. I would definitely be upset if the last game in this franchise was years ago and now they're coming out with something new, but it's a mobile game, which isn't what the game is. But I also have to be like, there's so many other games out, you know what I mean? Like, if you only play Diablo, it's the only video game you play, then it's like, alright, fine, I get it. But there's so many other good games. Like we are at the best time to be alive, to be a gamer. Like, there's so many good games out. Especially now, especially around the holiday season, like, there's so many good games coming out. It's like, I couldn't imagine being that upset over one game that you thought was going to come out didn't come out. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that there's never going to be another Diablo game. Maybe that's true, but it just goes back to, like, consumers thinking it's all about them, and it is, in a way, but, like, it just kind of goes back to that, and it's like, people just have to calm down, people have to chill out, people have to stop taking things so seriously, or things like that. There are definitely things in this world that people should take very, 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 very seriously, but there's things like that where it's like, oh no, a franchise that you're a fan of put out a game, but it's not the game you wanted. It's like, okay, just move on to another franchise you like, or another great, amazing game that is out that you haven't played, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, I don't want to make anyone upset, but that's just my opinion on it, where it's just like, it's not really something to get that upset about. Like, again, back to the scenario of mine, where if Last of Us was like, yo, new game, Last of Us 2, and then they're about to put it out in a month, and they're like, just kidding, it's a visual novel, I'd be like, I'd be pretty upset. But I would just be like, maybe I'll play it, maybe I won't, but then I'll just go back to all the other amazing games that are out. And just be like, I have more than enough games to satisfy more than enough of my time. So yeah. So I think that wraps that up. So yeah, I think the only other thing I want to get to, and this is where a lot of you may turn it off, which is fine. If you have made it this far, thank you. It's amazing that you would listen to me ramble on about stuff, just anything really. And if you're about to turn it off because you don't care about my next and last topic, that's fine. I guess I will give you the spiel so that you get it. This episode should come out on Friday. Next episode will come out next Friday, and every episode after that will come out on the following Fridays. This is kind of the style of what I'm going to do. Hopefully it gets better. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to make the content better and better and better. If you watch my gameplays, I hope that picks up, because I definitely think my newer gameplay videos that I put out are better than my old ones, even though I've only have like a total of 10 videos on my channel so far. But yeah, so just leave in the comments, your feedback, stuff you liked about this, stuff you didn't like, stuff, and if you didn't like something, please, I know there's hostile, poisonous people out there, but, if you are a good person, and, there are things you didn't like about this podcast, I would love if it would be constructive. It doesn't have to be, it can just be, this sucks, and that's fine, I'll probably like your comment, because I think that's funny, but, if you do have a constructive way, say, hey, you should do this instead of this, or you should talk about it in this way, or you should, structure it this way, or maybe talk about this topic, or, thanks, for that, for saying it that way, and giving me some ideas instead of just being like, this sucks, this is stupid, you should kill yourself. It's like, well, true, but, maybe. And also, if you have any, suggestions for what you want me to talk about, like, I'm not going to talk about everything that's happening in the world and every different, subject matter. So if there's something that you want me to talk about, whether it's recent and relevant to today, or maybe it's, I don't know, some freaking throwback topic or something like that, just leave that in the comments too, or tweet at me. I probably am going to put my Twitter handle on the screen at all times. I'll just be on like the side corner somewhere. I'm not super active on there. I probably try to tweet at least like a couple times a week usually. But if you do tweet at me to ask me something or suggest, a topic or something, I will definitely see it. Well, I will 1000% see it. And, yeah. So thank you for making it this far. And, yeah, that's amazing. It really is amazing that you made it this far. I'm not just saying that just to So yeah, last topic now. I'm going to talk about The Walking Dead. And if you're watching The Walking Dead, that's amazing. That is exactly what I want. If you don't watch The Walking Dead, if you haven't seen it at all, you probably want to turn this off. If you have no plans on seeing it, maybe you can still watch it, or like watch the end of this podcast, because it could still be entertaining for you. Maybe not. I don't know. This is going to be a part of the podcast I think a lot of people are going to turn off just because they don't watch The Walking Dead. It's just a numbers game at this point. But I do want to always be following a show on this podcast. I think that would be fun, and that would be a nice thing to do. So right now I'm doing The Walking Dead. Walking Dead ends in 3 weeks, so please leave in the comments or tweet at me what show you'd like me to follow next. It can be a show that is currently airing, or it can be a show that is 50 years old. Whatever floats your boat. It could be whatever show you want. At some point, I am a huge fan of anime. I am going to be covering probably 1 or 2 anime shows alongside another show such as The Walking Dead. So don't be mad if you're like, oh, I don't watch anime. Follow something else. Like, don't worry, I'll be following anime and also other stuff. So don't worry if anime is not your thing, but you want me to follow a show, anime and also other stuff. So don't worry about that. Yeah. So currently it's Walking Dead. Currently it is the let's see. It is the just go Walking Dead, my dude. Okay. I remember what I wanted to do. So here's what I'm gonna do. Walking Dead. Let's just fucking pull up an image for y'all to look at, cause fuck it. Recap, sure. I don't even know why we would. So fuck, dude. Images, my dude. Images, my dude. How the fuck do I get to images? Walking Dead. Fuck it. The Simpsons. Walking Dead. Spoilers for people who don't know any of these images, I guess. So first I want to start off with a quick recap of the episode for people who didn't watch it, didn't get it, or just don't remember it. Because I definitely don't have that great of a memory, and I wouldn't remember it if I was listening to a podcast and was like, hey, here's the episode that aired 5 days ago. So, not going to recap the whole thing. Well, I'm going to recap the whole episode, but I'm not going to talk about every little thing. Very, 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 very broad, just to jog your memory of what the episode was. So basically, we ended off last time with Rick being impaled by rebar. Spoiler alert. No one knew this was going to happen, but he got off of it. He used like his belt to like latch onto a rebar up top, and he like hoisted himself off of it. It's awesome. So yeah, he's alive. That's awesome. He then goes on these. He then starts passing out because I'm sure the blood loss, the pain, all that stuff. He's dying. He still has a huge hole in his abdomen. And he has this. He has three kind of like pass out like dream sequence type deals. And the first one, he is back in the first episode, where he is in the police car with Shane, where they shot down, where they ran in the car off the road, and then Rick got shot, and then the rest is the show. And he's talking to Shane, and which a big shout out to John Berthal, I think that's his name, who played Shane, for coming back. That's really cool. Shane was a great character. Yeah. So yeah, and basically this conversation is them kind of reminiscing, Shane kind of egging him a little bit, about like, how's my daughter doing, because we know that, Judith isn't actually Rick's, and him, and basically the outcome of that conversation is Shane basically taking credit for Rick, for how Rick is the way he is, with the Ricktatorship side of Rick. This side that is, Shane says that he wants you to remember the guy who to remember the Rick that bit out the other dude's throat when the other dude was trying to like, do some weird shit with Carl. To remember the dude who promised that I'm gonna kill you with this red hatchet, and then episodes, almost a season, something like that, probably just like half a season later, he then sees that guy again, and he kills him with that same red hatchet, and he slaughters the rest of his people. He's like, I want you to remember him because I'm responsible for him. And Rick's kind of like, oh yeah, and Shane is like, no, I'm serious. I'm taking full credit for that. I made you the way you are. Without me, you wouldn't be like that. And it kind of goes back to some things make you stronger, even if they're positive or negative. Some things make you stronger, make you who you are, whether you wanted it to be like that or not. That's kind of the big takeaway, where Shane is responsible for the Ricktator. And then he comes back, and then the second out of three kind of dream sequence things is him talking to Herschel, which big shout out, freaking RIP to the person who played Herschel. He died very, very recently, which made this sequence so much more emotional. And he kind of had a very nice talk. He was saying that, like, you did it, basically saying like, they're here because of you, like, you don't have to try so hard, like, they're gonna be okay without you. You did more than enough for your family, you know what I mean? Because Rick this whole time was like, I gotta find my family, I have to protect them, I have to make sure they're safe. And Herschel, when he's talking to Herschel, he's the one to be like, no, you don't, like, you don't have to keep them safe. They can keep themselves safe. They're going to be okay without you. Which I definitely think in earlier seasons, they would have fallen apart without Rick. Like when the Ricktatorship started at the end of season 2, when the farm burned down, that was like, no, you guys need Rick, because they had a whole conversation where Carol was even thinking about leaving. She was talking to Daryl, I think, and Carol was like, yo, let's go. And Rick was basically like, all right, go ahead, go, leave, go ahead, leave, I don't care, you know, because he's basically like, but like, just know, if you stay, this isn't a democracy. I love that line. He's like, if you stay, just know this isn't a democracy anymore. This is a dictatorship, you know, something like that. And basically proving that, like, you guys need me, you know. And that was also crazy side of Rick, because Rick, I think deep down, has always been a guy who didn't want to lead these people. He never wanted to be the guy put in charge, but he just naturally was put in it. And then once he was put in it, people saw that he was the best person for it. So yeah, so that's kind of how the conversation goes, where Herschel just kind of very reassuring, very just kind of like, hey, everything's going to be okay. You know, basically saying, without saying it, if you die, they're going to be okay. Like, you don't have to worry about them, you know. And then the last one is him talking to Sasha. And this one kind of starts off with him in the hospital where he first was when this all kicked off, and he opens the door, the famous doors that said don't open, dead inside, but in this version it says don't open, dead outside. Opens it, and there's a sea of bodies, and Sasha talks to him, and you know what, I don't really quite remember what Sasha said to him. I'm pretty sure Sasha was just like, you know, when we die, we're not really dead. You know, they'll live on through us. We'll live forever, you know, through what we've taught them. You know, like, us dying, kind of going back to us dying makes them stronger. You know, he's saying that, like, all the people who died before us made us stronger. And now when we die, we'll make them stronger. And then when they die, they'll make the people that come after them strong. You know, basically saying that, like, it never ends. You know, so there's kind of that thing. Sasha was a very controversial cameo in that episode, because a lot of people wanted other people. Fans wanted other people, you know. Shane completely makes sense. Herschel completely makes sense. Sasha, on the other hand, Sasha not a bad character. There were definitely times where I wasn't a huge fan of Sasha, but overall, Sasha a good character. But like, Sasha was the third one talking to Rick before he dies. Like, you know, a lot of people wanted Carl, but they knew that, you know, Chandler Riggs was never going to come back. Lori, we knew that the person who played Lori wasn't going to come back. You know, Glenn, we knew the person that played Glenn wasn't going to come back. So it was very unfortunate that AMC kind of burned bridges with such important characters, because any one of those three characters would have been better. I mean, honestly, almost any of the characters that are dead would have been better than Sasha. And again, I'm not trying to shit on Sasha. It's just that Sasha wasn't really that close to Rick, and I don't feel like Sasha really taught Rick anything the same way that Shane and Herschel did. You know, like, I was looking at the subreddit the other day, and someone mentioned Dr. Jenner from season 1, the one who was at the CDC, and I was like, that like blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, Dr. Jenner would have been amazing in this, because he would have been able to give the point of view of, like, he's a scientist, and he's the one who, like, studied it for years and years and years, and like, tried to, well, not years, right? It was a while, and you know, try to cure it and find a cure, and, like, you know, he blew up the lab, basically, and there's no hope, and, you know, like, that would have been a very, very interesting conversation for it to be years later, and, you know, a conversation about, like, the dead, and about, like, you know, all that stuff. So but yeah, try to get through this a little bit quicker. Maggie arrives at Alexandria. We know that Maggie wants to go there to kill Negan, because she's had it. I mean, she wanted Negan dead ever since the very beginning, and now she's like, Rick's gone. You know, Rick doesn't know I'm here, so I'm gonna come here and kill him. Michonne puts up some resistance, but then basically understands that there's nothing I can say to you that'll make you stop, and I really don't have a good reason to stop you. You know, like, I want to stop you, but I don't have a reason. And, you know, Maggie and Negan talk. Basically, the whole conversation goes that Negan, you know, Maggie wants to kill him, and, you know, Negan is just like, go ahead. You know, it's basically two parts. Like, one, go ahead and kill me. It has to be you. Like I know. Like, why do I know? Because, I'm the one who killed your husband, right? I'm the one who hit him over the head, made his eyeball pop out, you know. You know, he said something like how, I liked killing him, and how, like, you know, I always told myself that I don't like killing, but when I killed your husband, I actually did like it, or something like that. Just basically instigating her the whole time, of basically like daring her to kill him. Like, go ahead, Maggie, kill me. I dare you. You know what I mean? Like, I, for all the reasons that you want to kill me, I don't regret any of those decisions I made. Basically, making her really, really mad and really, really, aggressive and everything. And then, he basically breaks down, which is something I didn't expect him to do, but he breaks down, and he's crying. He's like, sniveling. He's like, she lets him out of the cage, to like basically come over here so I can kill you, and so she's just like, and he breaks down, and she's like, and he's just like, do it, I want to die, I want you to kill me, I want to be with my wife Lucille, I've tried, and basically implying that he's tried to kill himself, and he can't do it, so it has to be you have to kill him, and basically just breaking the fuck down. Like, very, very similar. It reminded me of how Rick broke down, and then Maggie decided not to kill him, and he got even sadder. He was like, no, you have to kill me, please. And she's like, no, you're worse than dead. And Negan goes back in his cell, and she leaves, and for a split second we see Negan's face, and it's just kind of like dark shadow or whatever. And the big not controversy, but the big guesswork there was Negan acting? Like, did he actually break down? Because it would make sense if he did. He definitely has something wrong with him, especially with him and Lucille. That whole losing his wife thing really fucked him up. I think that this world definitely fucked him up the same way it did everyone else. Previously, we learned that we don't know where Lucille is, or at least that's what Michonne told him, that we don't know where Lucille is. She's just out in the field, and that kind of broke him a little bit, So I could definitely believe it if he did break down. But another theory is that he was acting, and he was getting, and basically, if you don't want to die and someone's going to kill you, you're going to think of a plan for someone to not kill you, right? And so he thought, if this theory is true, then he was very, very smart, and I think Negan very, very much so is. He thought, I'm going to play to her empathy, and basically, act like I'm already a broken man, like basically get to a point where she thinks that I am so broken that I am worse than dead. And it worked, and now he's still alive. You know what I mean? Because of it, and he can still plot, and he can still figure a way to get back to what he wants to do in this world, which I'm not really sure what that is, but next they're on the bridge. Rick is being chased down by that whole herd of walkers. He's on the bridge, and his family arrives. Finally, his real family arrives. Daryl, Michonne, Carol, all those guys, that whole group, and sees him on the bridge with the whole herd, and they basically see what he's gonna do. He's gonna sacrifice the bridge for them, and they're like, no. So they start running over to somehow, some way, clear out the herd away from him. Daryl is off to the side picking off walkers with his crossbow. Really, really good shot, Daryl is. Just want to commend him for that. And him and Rick and Daryl kind of exchange glances, and I think Daryl kind of sees that Rick is willing to sacrifice himself, and then Rick shoots a thing of TNT and blows up the bridge and himself. And we see people being like, oh my god, no, like that, classic, sadness. And Daryl's crying, which I thought was very, very emotional and powerful, that he cried. It's like, shit. Which, again, there's another theory that Daryl is now going to blame himself for that, because Daryl's the one all the way back when, last episode, who took him on the motorcycle to drive him away from Maggie, because he was on Maggie's side, saying that Negan should be dead. So he's probably going to blame himself because he brought him out there, and then he brought him towards the herd when they, surrounded them in the hole, and then, he's the one who didn't try, in his mind, maybe he could have tried a little bit harder to get Rick to use the bridge initially to get rid of the walkers, rather than try to lead him out and around, away from people. So now people think that along with Glenn, he now has Rick on his conscience. Yeah, and then at the end we see Jadis, or Anne, depending on what name you use. I use Jadis because that was what she was first introduced as. She's going to the helicopter. She doesn't have anybody. She's gonna lie to them. She then looks over to the riverbed because she then looks over her shoulder because she hears the big explosion that just happened, and she looks over to the riverbed where Rick is on the side of the river alive, and that is where I have checked out of this episode. Because I'll talk about it after. And then she says, "Oh no, wait! I have a bee. I have a person here. Please help us." And so then the helicopter comes, picks them both up, and we see from Rick's perspective, we're looking at Jadis. We are lying down, and Jadis is sitting over us. Not sitting over, she's sitting next to us, kind of over us. And she says, "You're gonna be okay. They're gonna fix you up," or something like that. And so the helicopter is flying away, and we're like, "Oh my God, Rick's alive?" ? Okay. There are 2 more parts to this review, and speculation. So probably gonna go a little bit over an hour and a half. Probably go more towards 2 hours, but that's fine. That's the first episode. I've been kind of rambling a little bit. And if you care about this, then I guess it's interesting, maybe. I don't know. So here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go to a totally legal site and watch The Walking Dead. I'm not endorsing piracy, but I don't have cable, so this is how I watch The Walking Dead. And we are going to watch the very, very end of the episode, because my recap ended right at the end of the episode, but there's a little bit extra that I think is very interesting, and I think I want us to watch it together. You may not have seen this. If you haven't and you've seen the episode, you are a madman or a mad woman, and we're gonna watch it because this I just want to break down a little bit. So yes, here we go. Here we go. Skip to the end here. This is the just make this full screen. Alright, so yeah, she just died, and then we get over here, and she sees him on the riverbed. He's alive. She's picking him up. And then we see him, right? Yeah, they're gonna make you all better. It's okay. We see him alive. Goes away. And now it cuts. The last 3.5 minutes we're going to watch together. Because it cuts to a little bit later. And we see a bunch of people. They are new people, which I was very, very excited to see new people. We haven't seen new people in a while. It's been pretty much this, the whole like Negan, Rick, like settlements and everything like that. It's really, really nice to see new people, and they're like actually like surviving. They're not in a group, they're not in a community, they seem to be on the road, which is where Rick and his group were on not too long ago. We see them having troubles, they're getting surrounded, all that stuff. Just skipping forward here, so if you're wondering why it's skipping like this, it's me. And then we hear a young girl's voice say over here. At this point, I'm not sure who that is at all. I don't even know if she's someone we've met before. Then we see right here, in my mind right here, she's kind of blonde, lightish brunette type hair, longish too. At first I was thinking it's one of the 2 girls that we've seen before, which are dead, but that's where my mind went, and I'm like, wait, it can't be her. And she's also a badass, because she just headshot quite a few walkers from quite a distance away. And she's also by herself. So I'm like, what's about to happen? And I'm also like, these guys better not be bad. They better not take advantage of her. They better not like steal her shit or, anything like that.
You got names?
And then she said, you got names, which is pretty badass. She has a freaking revolver. She has a sword. Like, what the hell is going on here? They introduce themselves, which is hard. And then right here, guys, right here. So up to this point, I see her face, and I'm like, who the hell is this? I haven't seen this person before. Who is this? And I'm like AMC is really just introducing a bunch of new characters. And I see this hat, and this hat is definitely Rick's / Carl's. And I'm like, oh my god. But, well, my original thought process was, that looks like Rick and Carl's hat. Where did the hat come from? Like, did you literally just find that hat, or like what's going on there? And then I look at it and I'm like, that is definitely Rick and Carl's hat. And then at this point I'm like, it's Judith. It's grown up Judith. Oh my god, it's grown up Judith. And then she
Judith
fucking
Grimes.
says it. She says Judith Grimes, and I lost my shit because it's grown up Judith. She's wearing Rick's hat and Carl's hat. She has Rick's revolver, or it's similar. She has a sword, which is similar to Michonne. She's a badass. Like, she just helped save 5 adults from a horde of zombies. She's fucking awesome. Oh my god. Like, she is the new Carl. And I'm not trying to take away from Carl's character. Carl was one of the best characters, probably like top fucking 3 best characters in the show. But she's the new Carl. Like, she is what Carl was supposed to be before AMC fucked over Chandler Riggs. Like, that is what this is what Carl was going to be, and we'll see more of this in a second. But after this reveal, I was like, The Walking Dead is back on top. Like, started off before the season started, I was like, I have high hopes, or my hopes are high, I guess is a different way. But the show has been kind of declining the past 2 or 3 seasons. First episode, I was like, this is a good episode. Next few episodes, I'm like, all right, they are consistent, and they're all consistently good episodes. The Walking Dead is definitely watchable again, and it's pretty good. And then after this moment, this episode, and with this moment as the cherry on top, I was like, the show is back on top. I am loving this show again, like loving it. And then we get this little number.
Check out what's coming up next.
The Walking Dead next 3 episodes. Now, I know why they did this. They did it because they know a lot of people would have checked out because, oh, Rick is dead. Or Rick isn't in the show anymore. I think this was a way for them to be like, hey, we know a lot of you are probably not going to watch the show anymore. Here's some reasons you should.
Next on The Walking Dead.
And I might be pausing a lot because there's a lot to take in. So right here, we just see Michonne. We see Daryl. The music is great, and basically, the whole tone of this is like, we're here. Like, Rick is dead, Rick is gone, but we are not going to besmirch his legacy by giving up or just like, shriveling into nothing. Like, we're gonna prove that we don't need Rick anymore because of all of the stuff Rick has taught us, and not only what he's taught us, but who he's made us be. Like, the kind of people he's made us be. Like we're gonna kick the apocalypse's ass, basically. And Daryl looking badass. He's got new poncho shirt thing that he also seems like he's like outdoorsy, which is weird to say, but like, it seems like he's like on the road with his attire. So I hope that he didn't like flee and was like, Rick died because of me, I don't want to be here anymore, you guys probably hate me, I'm embarrassed to show my face around you. Like, I really hope that's not it, because I love Daryl. But if they did do it, it's for a good reason, and I trust them, because this season so far has been really good. This right here, Carol, long hair, love it. People are calling her Legolas or Carlus or Carolus, with the bow and arrow. The only weird thing is that I don't like that she's using a bow and arrow, only because it's weird to me. Like, she's always used a gun, so now I'm kind of thinking in my head, like, what is the situation that she's not using a gun? Because I feel like, given the option, she would be using a gun. So why is she using a bow and arrow? Like, is it the scarcity of resources, or is there another reason? So that's something that has me skeptical. Drop it, her being a badass as usual. Like, don't fuck with me. Carol's the scariest character in this entire show. Don't get it twisted. Judith again being a badass. Like, she's not even being a badass. I'm just saying she is at this point. But awesome with her in the hat. Back on top, whatever. I don't care. Next, they have a carriage, which is interesting. Cool, I guess.
Strangers we brought here yesterday?
Yep. People we took out. Negan. What does Negan say here? I'm actually gonna put my headphones in for this because I don't remember what he says.
We brought here yesterday.
Let me guess. You want to help him.
Yeah, so she says, she's referencing the people we saved yesterday, which is the people she saved yesterday. Wait. Okay, never mind. And Negan, still seemingly locked up. Hold on, I have to pause it at the right time.
Yes. You want to?
He's still seemingly locked up, although he's seeing the outside. So I'm not sure if he's locked up somewhere else or if his cage in, his cell in, that he's been in, always had a lookout to the outside. I don't remember. He's also clean shaven. Well, not like, he's not like, doesn't have any hair, but he's done the long scraggly beard he did. So he cleaned up, so he seems to be doing better mentally, I think. And she's talking about the people that they saved, and he's like, let me guess, you want to help those people. So her, again, being very Carl-like, wanting to help people. And also this is another thing that opens up where, again, people were mad that Carl died. They killed off Carl because Carl and Negan were supposed to have this crazy tight relationship. And comic book people were really, really, really anticipating it, and then he died. So now they're saying that, or it seems like Judith and Negan are going to have that relationship, which I think is interesting, and I can't wait for it, because I can't wait to see what it spawns, especially with Rick not being here. That's going to be, and Carl not being here, very, very, very interesting. Michonne, damn it.
Let me guess. You want to help.
You've seen this part 6 times now. Michonne, okay. Michonne with her long hair. She's always had long hair, but she always have it back now with it like the freaking foop. I don't know what to call it. Thing. She looks really, really good. I really like that style on her. She's also not wearing like cut off sleeves like she does. She's like wearing a real jacket now, which I think is dope. Which might just be because it's colder out, which is something that people have been wanting for a long time. As to why we haven't seen them fight in the winter yet. Now, a realistic answer is because they film it in Georgia. Doesn't exactly snow a lot in Georgia, but we're just like, oh, come on, we want to see them in snow. Like, that'd be crazy, you know what I mean? But anyway, don't know what this is. I don't know what the point of this is. I think it's like a watchtower type thing, like a radio tower watchtower, and then we cut to this, and then it's like, okay, cool. We see Gabriel seems to be in a position of finding new people. That's cool that they're kind of back on that. We see this where they're hiding, and right here I'm like, walkers aren't gonna fall for that. Like, it's their own blood and guts that they do. And then a walker right here says like, where are they? And that is alluding to the Whispers, which I don't know because I didn't read the comic books, but I have, reluctantly seen some things about the Whispers, and what I've seen is that the Whispers are people that can like talk to walkers, they can control walkers, they have intelligent walkers. One of those things, a mixture of those things, a hybrid of all those things. I don't exactly know, but it's something like that. And then we see this.
You ever seen him do this before?
Where Jesus is like, have you ever seen them do this? Like, this is weird. They're just kind of milling about, and Aaron is like, I've never seen them do this. Aaron on the run from Whispers or from the Whispered Zombies. We see that again, and they're obviously doing that. We see them with crops. That's amazing. They seem to be doing very, very well. It seems to be like a golden age for them, where they've hit this a couple times, 2-3 times before in the show. They always hit this point where it seems they're doing very, very well, and then something happens and everything goes to shit.
You stand up for what's right. What's wrong.
We see him. This is I think Sam. Is that his name? Sam? No, it's not Sam. That was the other kid. Don't remember his name, but this is the kid that kind of has clung to Carol and Michonne, or not Michonne. Fucking. Not Eugene. What the fuck is his name? Ezekiel. I knew it started with the E. He's older now, and a lot of people are saying that he might take up some of the storylines that Carl was supposed to have from the comic books and everything like that.
You're talking that.
Carol's still trying to teach him her ways, but he's obviously is older. He has his little free thinking, so she's just kind of he's obviously saying stuff that she doesn't completely agree with, and she's just like, but he has kind of a point or whatever, so. The windmill that we see, tennis ball, I don't know what that's for. She's hurt, that sucks. A slingshot is dope. And then people said that's Jesus. I guess it is, looking at it again, it's Jesus, like ninja-ing. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, lots of really good stuff going on here. Yeah. I guess the only other thing I really want to talk about regarding this is the whole Rick is still alive thing. I don't really like it, to be honest. I want to do this actually, which is an idea I had, and y'all let me know if you like me doing this or not. Let me go down to The Walking Dead. Alright, I wanted to go to the Walking Dead subreddit, and I want to go on the discussion. Yes. I want to go through some of these because I was reading it, and I always love going to the subreddit because people always think of things I don't, and they always think of like ways to think about things that I don't. So I'm just gonna go through this. Tyler Judas has a job. Yeah, this is one thing I was getting at before was anybody else expecting Negan to smile slightly after Meg left the room? Yes, because I completely thought he was going to, because again, it reminds me a lot of Carol, where in a previous season when Carol was tied up and she had like the fucking don't remember the name of it, but she was like acting, or we thought that she was acting all innocent and stuff to make sure that her captors didn't kill her. And so people were on the fence about was she acting like she's lost it all, she's finally broken down, she's finally hysterical, or was she truly that way? And people were like, well, she could be. I mean, she's been marking down, trying to remember how many people she's killed. She's been, she's running off because she doesn't want to be with them. They don't, so. Anyone else get scared when Rick was talking to Michonne on the bridge? No, she's considered Walker. No, not really. That's stupid. Not really. I'm showing all their usernames, so I don't want to call anyone out. That's not stupid, but I sure hope we didn't. A young Lucille origin story with a young Stephen Forrest. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Daryl crying. That was like, oh God. You can definitely tell it was Scott Gimple that was hindering Norman Reedus, because he's done an amazing job so far. That ending was the Rick roll the entire show. Yes. Because, some people say here, like, if he just stepped back a few feet, which was, I was thinking in the moment, if Rick just stepped back a few feet, he would have been fine. He wouldn't have died, but, it's a show, and a lot of people are upset because they're like, why is there dynamite on a bridge? And it's like, well, dynamite is used to, build things. It's used for, to build bridges and, railroads and stuff like that, or it was, and especially with them, with their limited technology, I mean, it makes sense that they could have to be like blowing out, different parts of like hills or like different crevices, but yeah, shit in the car, how's my daughter? Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. A and B, we've already discussed that. Look at me on the main character. That's funny because, it's true. Like, Judith is now the main character in my mind. She's the main character of the show. The entire scene when Shane sees one of my favorite moments. Rick's past, Terminus guys. Yeah, that was a great moment. Yeah, talking about Chandler Riggs. Carl's role, we talked about that. So, Carl with long hair, yeah. So I think the only last thing, song choice is amazing. So I think there's one big thing, Amnesia. Yeah, so I'm gonna end it right here. The big last thing I want to talk about is Rick not dying. So we learned that Andrew Lincoln, who plays Rick, is going to be coming back for a few Walking Dead movies. My problem with Rick still being alive is that it doesn't make sense to me. I really wish they would have just killed off the character. Now, I love Rick as a character, and I'm not saying I want Rick to die, but I'm saying if Andrew Lincoln is leaving the show, kill Rick. I don't want there to be speculation, because plot-wise, he's going to the Whisperers, right? That's my assumption, is that the Whisperers are the same people who have the helicopters and everything and want the A's and the B's. But when Rick wakes up and he's all okay, why isn't his first thought, where am I? No, his first thought is going to be, holy shit, I'm alive. His second thought is going to be, wait, where am I? His third thought is going to be, where's my family? So, like, you expect me and all the Walking Dead fans to believe that Rick is alive, but he's not spending every waking second trying to get back to his family that he just thought he sacrificed his life over? No. I completely disagree. Like, how is Rick still alive, but he's not going to be seen on the show anymore? There was actually, I think it came out that we are going to see Rick one more time this season, but like just for like some little thing. So I hope that explains it. And again, Angela Kang has done a very good job this season so far, so I trust her. But it just doesn't make sense. Like, and that is a big people's big gripe with this, where it's like, you expect me to believe that Rick is alive and he's not gonna try and find his family. And then some people's counter argument is that, well, what if Rick is overseas? You know, what if like their base is in Europe? The Whisperers' base is in Europe. How would Rick get to them? And it's like, I don't care where, and to me, I do not care where Rick is. I don't care if he is in the freaking South Pole. I don't care. I still know that Rick's thought process is going to be, I have to get back. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to tell me that Rick couldn't find, I mean, we know helicopters exist. We know helicopters work. We know helicopters are there. You're telling me Rick wouldn't find a way? Like, I don't know if he can fly a helicopter, but Rick would damn sure. It might take him 2, 3, 4 years to get back to his family, but you're trying to tell me that Rick would not find a way to learn how to fly a helicopter and fly it back to Georgia? Or DC, I mean, which is where they are. You're trying to tell me that he wouldn't try to, I mean, like, he submitted to Negan only to devise a plan that took seasons to devise and craft and perfect to be able to, in the end, defeat Negan and free his family for his family. So, like, I can't imagine a scenario where Rick is alive, but he's not with his family. Like, I don't care where he is. Like, it's like, oh, he's overseas. I don't care if he's overseas. He went from DC to wherever overseas in the first place, which, you know what that means? There's a way back. If there's a way to, there's a way back. Unless once he lands, every mode of transportation explodes. Like, there's a way back. And we know there's a way back because if the people who took him are the Whisperers, we see that the Whisperers are using the whispered zombies against Rick's, former group. So, like, we know that they have some way to so it's like there's a way. Side note, from now on, I'm not gonna for 9 seasons I've been calling this Rick and his group, or Rick's group. I'm not gonna call this Judith's group, because that is how I feel. Judith's group. So yeah, and the one real explanation for it is, I saw this a lot, was that Rick has amnesia. I would believe that. I think that's very, very cheap, but him getting, him almost point blank getting hit with the force of dynamite, more than one stick of dynamite. I guess I believe that. If that's AMC's, if that's Angela Kang, Scott Gimple's, Robert Kirkman, if that's their explanation for why Rick isn't spending every waking second to find his family, is because he doesn't remember his family, that's fine, I guess. Because then, in a way, if they never want to give him his memory back, then it makes sense. And even down the line, if they want to give it back at some point, which they're not going to, because he's never going to come back to The Walking Dead. He's already said that. Well, he didn't say he's never, but he said he's off right now. So I guess that also gives them an opportunity to, amnesia does go away. Sometimes it takes weeks. Sometimes it takes years and years and years. But amnesia does and can, your memories can come back. So I guess it's, clever. It's a very useful tool in their tool bag to have on Rick's character, and for him to have amnesia. But if that's not it, like, I need to know why Rick isn't spending every waking second trying to find his family, because it's nonsense that Rick, like, I was really conflicted when it showed Rick alive, because I was like, oh my god, he's alive, yes, like, main character Rick, he's awesome, he's alive, he didn't die, this is awesome. And then I remembered, wait, Andrew Lincoln is not coming back to the like he's leaving The Walking Dead. Like, I started watching this episode knowing he's gonna die, because we all knew it. All the Walking Dead fans knew that he's dying this episode, and I came in saying they better kill Rick. They better not send him off like Morgan, because the difference is that Andrew Lincoln is done. He's done with this show. So if they don't kill him off, then it's just like, why? Like, kill him off. He's not coming back. Kill him off. I don't want there to be speculation of like, oh, he might be coming back, or like, what's he doing in that part of the, because then it just opens up like, okay, so you're telling me that Rick is in a part of the world that we don't know about? And it's stupid, for lack of a better word, because he's at a place that we do know about, and we're very, very, very quickly, actually next episode, going to learn about. Well, maybe not next episode, maybe it'll take, but this season, in the next 3 episodes, we're going to learn about. So it just makes sense to me. Whereas with Morgan, he left in quotation marks, the group, because he's actually going to be in Fear the Walking Dead. But I'm fine with that, because I don't remember, Lenny James, I think is his name. I don't remember Lenny James ever saying, I'm not coming back to The Walking Dead. So it's okay for him to leave and not be dead, because he's going back, because he's going to Fear, and he could be coming back. You know, because, I mean, because his character might come back, or because there is the whole theory that at some point, The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, both those shows are going to merge into one show. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but it's you know, a theory. So yeah, that's Walking Dead. If you made it this far, I congratulate you. That is very impressive. To listen to me ramble about The Walking Dead for 40 minutes or however long it's been. So yeah, I'll give you the same spiel. Podcast. This should come out tomorrow, which is a Friday. The next episode will be on Friday. I already talked about the topics. I'll talk about them again. 2 topics that I'm most likely going to talk about next time is 90s animation, and the Shrek reboot. So that's 2 things if you're looking forward to that. I'm also going to talk about the next episode of Walking Dead, which is episode 6. So if you're not caught up, catch up. If you are caught up, make sure to watch it and see my reaction on Friday. I would like to do reaction sooner, like put it out on Monday or Tuesday, but you know, this is when the podcast comes out, and it just gives me ample time to really gather my thoughts on the episode and all my theories and all my, you know, everything like that. So and it also gets you ready in a couple days when the next episode comes out, so you kind of think of it like that. So yeah, again, any criticisms of this podcast, I'm always for, whether they're positive or negative. Just, I would like for them to be constructive, you know. I mean, that might be too much to ask for some people in this world. You know, some people just like to spew venom without any antidote. Or that was a terrible metaphor, but you know, which is fine. If you just hate it and you want to say this sucks, I hate it, that's fine. You know, I mean, whatever. But also, if you have any topics, anything you want me to talk about, anything you want to hear me talk about, possibly something that you want to hear about more than me talking about Nintendo, Diablo, or The Walking Dead. Obviously I talk about more than that. It just happens this episode was that stuff. So let me know in the comments or on my tweet at me. My Twitter is probably on the screen. It probably has been the entire time. So there it is. Yeah, I think that's it. Also, I already said this, but I'll say it again. Let me know what show you want me to cover after Walking Dead is over, because Walking Dead is literally 3 more episodes, and then they're going on break. So, I will be covering anime starting at some point, but I want to cover something else other than anime for the people who don't give 2 shits about anime. So, let me know. It could be a show that's airing right now, or it could be a show that aired, you know, a million years ago. I don't know how you'd find that show, but if you find it, I sure want to watch it, because it'd be interesting. Yeah, I think that's all the housekeeping I have. So, yeah. Yeah. So that was the first episode of False Opinions. Yeah. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, rest of your weekend, since I know this comes out on Friday, whereas with other shows, other stuff I do, I just say day because I don't know when it comes out. But with this, I know it comes out on Friday, so I can say have a good rest of your weekend. Or start, depending on if you think Friday is part of the weekend or not. I I usually think like Friday night, sometimes Friday afternoon is kind of part of the weekend, you know. But you know, whatever you feel. You know, there's always a debate as to is Sunday the start of the week or is Monday the start of the week. I don't know. On a calendar it's Sunday. In my mind it's Monday, just because, you know. But yeah, have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next episode hopefully. You know, so yeah.